What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Static Shine. We are back here with another YouTube video. It has been a while, but we are here, and I actually want to do something different for once. I want to recommend some things to start off with for when you're watching Marvel films. Like if it's your first time going in and you don't know what to watch first, or then we're going to do one where, with comic books to read and stuff just to get started. So this is going to be basically on what Marvel films to start off with and then where to go from there. So stay tuned, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and Hulk smash that bell button for more content. And let's get started. Alright, so first things first. This is what I highly recommend you guys do not do. I repeat, do not do it. Do not jump straight into the MCU. I want you guys to jump into what I like to call the golden era of Marvel. Now, listen. I know you guys want to jump straight into the MCU. You guys want to start off with the first Iron Man movie. But listen, it's common sense. You could literally Google it. I could Google it. What movies to watch in chronological order for the MCU. It's there. You could literally put two and two together. But what people don't do and what people do not realize is how precious these early 2000 Marvel movies are. Because that's what I like to call, like, really the history and the foundation of where Marvel really started to how they are now. So you guys want to appreciate those movies, which will make you appreciate the MCU even more. So here's how we're going to do it. You're going to want to start off with the first Blade movie. And I know a lot of you guys probably thought I was going to say the Tobey Maguire SpiderMan trilogy. Nah, it's not even that. The first Blade movie is where it really started Marvel going. Like, what really had people go, oh, shucks, like, yo, Marvel could produce some good content. Because before the first Blade movie, Marvel wasn't doing so good. A lot of people be trashing DC, but like I said, Marvel wasn't doing so good either. If you go check out don't believe me? Check out the first Captain America movie. I'm just saying. It wasn't too hot. Don't believe me about that? Go check out the first Fantastic Four movie. Don't believe that? Go check out Howard the Duck. These are Marvel movies that came out before Blade and before the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. And that's what people fail to realize. So, Blade was that movie that made people, like I said, go, wow, okay, this is some serious stuff. And a lot of people actually didn't know that Blade was a Marvel character. But yes, he is. The first Blade movie was a banger. Straight heat. Wesley Snipes did his thing. I'm telling you guys, you're not going to want to miss out. You don't want to miss that movie. And Blade 2 definitely didn't disappoint. Listen, the first two Blade movies was hot. I'm telling you that right now. And it was the first time for me seeing, like, wow, a vampire hunter is a superhero. I was like, okay. And on top of that, he was black. I'm like, wow, this is really different. And I love the way they displayed his powers and abilities, as well as his, like, Wesley Snipes portrayed him, like, it was spot on, comic book accurate. The looks, the acting, everything was there. But now, Blade Trinity, well, you see, I'm not too much of a fan of Blade Trinity, alright? But if you want to watch it, you could definitely still check it out, because you may like it. Like, the choice is in your hands, but you still would want to watch the Blade movies. I would highly recommend you start off with that. So now let's move on to the next Marvel films we're going to be talking about. So now, how can I do this list without talking about the very first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie? He is what I like to call was the next big step after the Blade movie. Like, he really was. That's when people really was like, oh. First, people, when they saw the Blade movie, it's like, oh, shucks. But when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movie came out, it was like, what did we just see? That's crazy. Like, yo, I'm telling you right now, if you haven't seen the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, what are you doing? What are you doing starting the very first Iron Man movie without watching Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movie? Come on, man. Come on. Like, let's really talk about it. Tobey Maguire is low-key the GOAT. I'm going to be honest. Because before RDJ, there was Tobey Maguire. Remember that. I put some respect on his name. The very first Spider-Man movie, it's what I like to say, original, nostalgic. Is that a word? Nostalgia, however they pronounce it or call it. Yes, it's that right there. Everything in one. It was an amazing movie. Now, Spider-Man 2, that, like I said, that's how the film, that's how movies are supposed to be in general. If you have a trilogy, the first one's supposed to be the origin, and that's literally what this was. The very first Spider-Man movie was the origin of Spider-Man, and they displayed that very well. The villain portrayal of Green Goblin was done spot on. The love story, the love connection that he has with Mary Jane was amazing. His friendship with Harry Osborn was amazing. Spider-Man 2 was what really... that's when the action really started to kick in. But there was still a great story to it, now that I really think about it. They still, like, they had... Spider-Man 2 was a combination of a lot of things. That's why Spider-Man 2, for Tobey Maguire, everyone loves that one. Now I'm starting to really think about it. So yeah, you guys definitely need to check that one out. Now, Spider-Man 3, that's my favorite. And the reason why, Spider-Man 3 has a great story, has great action, and has a great ending too. Like, it has a great, like, it ends everything well. But they could still pick up if they wanted to. That's what I like about it. But what I really love about this movie is it's a whole meme. That movie is a classic. That is where Bully Maguire came from. Okay? If you don't know who Bully Maguire is or what a Bully Maguire is, you have no business starting the MCU without watching that. There's literally no reason why you should be starting the MCU if you haven't watched Spider-Man 3 and understand these references that people be making in other Marvel films or just on social media, period. So, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy is definitely a must. You need to watch that, alright? Point blank, period. That, if you really haven't seen any one of those movies, it's, yeah, you're not in so much of a good spot. But listen, when you're going into these movies, please do not go in with that, oh, you're supposed to see some crazy CGI special effects. They do have some of that, some moments in these films, but it's not compared to what the MCU has, like what we have today, okay? Because remember the era these movies came out in, alright? So now let's move on to the next Marvel film. So now the next Marvel film you're gonna want to start off with is the Hulk movie in 2003. This movie felt like a PowerPoint, but it's still amazing. It's still, like I said, nostalgic, if that's the word. But yeah, it's there. That movie is a straight banger. Like, the portrayal of the Hulk, that is comic book accurate. Honestly, a lot of these Marvel films back in the early thousands were really comic book accurate, but people make fun of it because of what we're getting out today. So they look back at those movies and completely forget about it and just literally dog walk it and just trash it for no reason. No, you guys need to appreciate these films because this is what started the MCU. This is why we have the MCU. Because without these movies, there wouldn't be an MCU. I'm sorry I'm going on a rant, but it just upsets me. But back to this Hulk movie. Okay, listen. It has its moments. It has its moments. I'm not gonna lie. It has some cringy moments. It has some moments that make you go, huh? But the transformations, like, listen. That's what the Hulk is about. That's what people really love. They love the whole start to finish of the transformation of Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk. They love those moments. People cannot wait for those moments. That's what people literally go to see the Hulk movies for. That's why you're going to see a Hulk movie, because you just want to see him turn into the Hulk. That is literally the main point, the main objective. You want to see him turn into the Hulk. That's it. You don't care about anything else. That's what you're going to see the Hulk movie for. It's just the action. And it definitely... Yo, alright, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, nah, that movie, I would easily give that like an 8. That movie wasn't bad. Like, the action was there. I'm not even gonna hold. Like, I literally would go watch some of those clips on YouTube and still enjoy it. So that's what this movie's like. It's one of those films where you'll definitely go search up on YouTube just to rewatch those clips or rewatch the whole movie. So yes, you definitely want to go back and watch this movie before you even go into watching The Incredible Hulk, alright? So now let's move on to the next Marvel film. Alright, so now this one right here is going to be my last Marvel film that I'm going to recommend, because the next video I'm going to talk about the rest of them, because I don't want to make this video way too long. But Fantastic Four is definitely, I would say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I put this at the top of all those other films, to be honest. This movie received so much criticism for no reason. People trash Chris Evans or make fun of his performance as the Human Torch, and they know nothing of that. It just literally shows me how much they don't understand about the Human Torch or understand anything about the Fantastic Four. The Human Torch character is supposed to be very arrogant. He's supposed to be a so-called know-it-all. Like, he thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't. He's supposed to be like that pretty boy type guy, like a ladies' man, and very irresponsible. And Chris Evans, like, check. He literally met every criteria of portraying Johnny Storm. The casting for this movie was amazing. Like I said, it's just a time period it came out in. Like, this, like, of course, the CGI isn't gonna be all crazy. Like, whoa, like, yo, what we got now? Like freaking Thanos and the Infinity Stones and all that stuff. Listen, it's not gonna be like that. This movie came out in 2005. I was like, what, maybe, yeah, 5 years old? 5, 6? I'm 22 now. Just think about that for a second. This movie was really valid. They portrayed the Fantastic Four what it's supposed to be. That superhero family. Like, it's, everything is, I give this a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. You guys are really surprised that I'm probably saying this, but yes, I highly recommend this movie to you guys. You guys need to watch it. And there's one more thing. People do not give Mr. Fantastic, the guy who portrayed him, much credit. I think he did an amazing job. A lot of people want to see John Krasinski, but listen, I want to see him too. I want to see him play Mr. Fantastic too. Don't get me wrong, for the MCU. But this guy did an amazing job playing Mr. Fantastic. Reed Richards, comic book accurate. The guy who played the Thing, comic book accurate. Chris Evans as the Human Torch, comic book accurate. And listen, before Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, we had Jessica Alba's Invisible Woman. I was simping, boy. I was simping. I'm just saying that right there. But her performance as Invisible Woman is spot on. This movie's easy, a 10 out of 10. Action, I give it probably like maybe an 8 out of 10. Alright. Overall movie, I think it's a 10 out of 10. Story, 10 out of 10. Character portrayal, 10 out of 10. But if you really got to tally everything up, it's probably like maybe a 9 out of 10. Maybe a 9, 9.5. Like, I give it probably like, overall rating supposed to be like 8.5 to a 9.5 out of 10 and stuff, with everything I'm, marking off. Movie wasn't bad at all. Had an amazing soundtrack. Story was amazing, like I said. Action wasn't bad. It's a great movie. Don't know why people hate on it. I love it. I'm literally putting this above the other ones. So that's it. That's where I'm going to end it off with, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and Hulk smash that bell button for more content. And we are going to be giving you guys more content just like this. And we're going to hit you guys with a DC one. That one's going to be really fun. And I'm going to hit you guys with like some Marvel comics you want to start off with, or comic books in general, some DC comics you want to start off with, how to get into it, some cartoons you want to start out with, shows, all that. And hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next video. Peace out, guys. Boom!